smart cities, when we're talking about making smart cities more equitable, we're not talking about street lighting, which is a very, very important part. I'm happy to also say, I sit on the Gender Budget Committee of the Government of India, that now there has been that input into the Urban Development Ministry of, looking at street lighting. So it's an ongoing conversation, like you said. But at the end of the day, my question is a little different. My question is what she is asking, which is that it may be incumbent upon the government and the corporate and institutions to do their bit. But where is the societal transformation that we are looking for? And that is not going to take place unless and until we are building a public narrative which very clearly says that 5 trillion economy, great. The best this in the world in the next 10 years, great. Cannot happen if women are not going to be in workplaces. Cannot happen if our women are not digitally empowered. And there are ways to do it. You asked me some examples. I didn't want to jump because you can create digital literacy sessions in rural India and Anganwadis and train Asha workers to do it. That's a water hole. Find water holes where women spend time, right? If an Amul could teach millions of women to milk, right, and check the quality, right? We can do this. We need to apply our mind on how do we really want to take digital tools to women. There are water holes, there are Anganwadi areas, there are self-help groups. India has many of them. And this is where the private sector can also step in. As incumbent is on the government, if the private sector wants to benefit from that consumer growth and participation, let me tell you, you will need women. So find the mothers, find the mothers. If the mother is digitally literate, the children, whether male or female, will benefit. Where are these mothers? Find them, create programs at school level. It's very hard for urban poor women to actually do anything, but because most of them work, they work daily wages or they work in our homes, for example. So it's very hard for them to learn digital tools. Have you thought about creating a program for that? I know the Tatas did a program with Tata Sky sometime back for English. And so you can, today the tools are available, whether it's the OTT, whether it's the phone, you have today the technology available. So in fact, I would turn the question on its head and say, what can technology do to bring gender transformation in society? When technology companies, technology innovators, institutions that develop these platforms start thinking like that, when their sandbox changes to include everybody to use their tools, then automatically digital transformation is a given. And like she said, the fundamental part is, what is your criteria for that larger change? Once that criteria is equality and equal access and participation, then equal transformation is possible. Is it guaranteed? I don't know. Nobody can guarantee anything, but it is possible.
Okay. Do you want to add something on to that, Anand?
No, I think I was just wanting to comment on the work that Tata Group is doing. So of course, upskilling women, especially at the lower end of the economic strata, is a big focus area for us as a group. Tata Communications has started this project called Project Drishti, where we are trying to get women out of the poverty, health, sort of gap, and actually supporting them on skill development on STEM areas as well as leadership skills, so that they can live lives which stand true to their potential, right? So there is a lot of work going on, but to the point that you mentioned that, why is it that women are leaving the workforce, and I think this was a revelation, the infrastructure per se, right? I would just say that the other conversation that we've realized in the corporates is also the worth it question. That if women are actually, they've taken a break and they're coming back to work, and on one hand side, they still are considered to be the primary person running the household and taking care of their children, etc. I'm talking generally. And vis-a-vis in the workplace, they still have to deal with a lot of hurdles, let's say infrastructure issues. I think the question that we've heard from the research that we've done a couple of years back is that, is it really worth it for me to be there in the workplace, and what am I contributing? Right, and that brings us back to the question that, what are we doing, and is this a problem enough, or is this just a good to have? Over to you, Dilip.
Yeah. I just want to take it from where Ina left. Tata Steel, for example, they have great initiatives for gender diversity. They were the first, in fact, to include women in certain mining roles. So many years back when they started it, I had gone to report in a mine in some obscure part of Orissa. There were 3 women who were inducted, and they were the first miners in those roles. They were engineers, but they were at that place, and they were actually encouraging local women to join mining. The problem that I went back there about 5-7 years later. The number of women had not increased despite Tata Steel trying very hard. The reason is because these local women who were joining the mining workforce, their point was that what would the men do? Because as you would know, most steel mines are in areas where the entire ecosystem depends on that. Tata Steel has been trying very hard. They have a partner in L&T who's also been trying, and they have managed to induct more women in certain parts. But the women, what they complain is that what is the next career growth? I'm a big believer of the founding fathers of our constitution who decided that India will be a mixed economy with very strong socialist ethos. So therefore I'll go back to saying that there is a very strong case for the government to incentivize companies such as Tata Steel. Maybe they don't need it because they have such a robust program, but many other companies, they need to incentivize to ensure that in roles, whether it's STEM or it's say mining and engineering or manufacturing for that matter, where you do not have many women, they have to incentivize these companies to ensure that women, they have to incentivize these companies to retain those women, incentivize again to ensure that the women rise up the ranks. Otherwise, the chances are that the women will drop out because the incentive to go back to the family at the middle level is extremely high.
Thank you. I think I have enough notes, but I'm not going to take another 10 minutes to summarize. But when we started this conversation, for all of you here, it was more of a conversation on what do we do at our office and what is it that we can do better. As we evolved over the days, we realized this is beyond us. And if we have to make a difference, and exactly to what you said, if you really want to get to that digital space where you want to be, and if you want to get there today or tomorrow, you need the diversity push to be taken care of. And remember one thing, we are just talking about gender diversity right now. Right? You talk about the various diversities which exist in the ecosystem, we've not even touched them. So let's start making this difference. And as I said, it's not just about you and me or men and women, rather you said that, I didn't. But the point being that we all have a role to play, be it the government, be it the education system, be it the lawmaking, the policy making, the corporates, and it's not just here, right? It's about how do you really impact the entire system. So I think if all of us can go back and figure out what is it that we want to do, learn from a few examples and see what is it that we can incorporate and make maybe even one change, even if it's to begin with toilets, I think we've achieved something. So thank you for being with us, and sorry for keeping you away from lunch. And if you want to know more about this or more questions, please feel free to talk to the panel outside. Thank you everybody. Thank you.
Thank you.